Hi, I'm Sean Christine, the Mayor of Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, and this is the State of the Borough Address for February 15th, 2012. My purpose in talking to you today is to provide some general information about the operations of Selinsgrove, briefly recap the events of 2011, discuss where we are currently, and touch on some of the future plans for the borough. Before I start, I'd like to thank the ladies in the borough office for their input in this report, the borough council, the borough crew, our emergency services personnel, and the many people who have volunteered in the borough over the last year for everything they do for our community. I'd also like to thank Professor Craig Stark and Susquehanna University for making this presentation possible. To begin, I feel it's important to briefly explain how the borough works. Boroughs like Selinsgrove represent the second most common form of municipal government in the state of Pennsylvania, just behind second-class townships. Borough populations range from the smallest, like Centralia, with a population of about 10, to the largest, like Bethel Park, with a population of around 35,000. A common question in college communities such as Selinsgrove is, are college students counted in the population? The U.S. Census Bureau addressed this question in the 2010 census, stating that people were counted at their usual residence and that this principle has been used since 1790. So, you are counted where you live and sleep most of the time, even though it may not be your voting residence or even your legal residence. With that in mind, the Selinsgrove population in 2010, including Susquehanna University students, was 5,654, which represents a 5% increase from the 2000 census. Geographically, the borough is only 1.83 square miles. What many people don't realize is that the Selinsgrove municipality and postal area are two different things. For example, your mailing address could say Selinsgrove, but it doesn't mean you actually live in the borough. Generally speaking, the easternmost limit of the borough is the Susquehanna River at the Isle of Q. The southern boundary is Sand Hill Road. The western limit is roughly 18th Street, and going north on Market Street, you are out of the borough once you reach Bridge Street. Selinsgrove has just over 1,900 housing units, and the home ownership rate is 47%. The median value of owner-occupied housing units is $121,000, while the median household income is $32,957. The per capita income from the 2010 census was around $16,000, and 16.5% of the population fell below the poverty level. Unfortunately, this makes it look like Selinsgrove falls below the Pennsylvania averages for home ownership rate, median home value, per capita income, household income, and poverty level. However, the inclusion of the student population in the census shouldn't be ignored as an influence on the statistics, as these young people are working hard to earn their degrees during the time they're here in the borough. Additionally, 2012 looks promising downtown with low vacancy rates in storefronts and new businesses coming into the borough. The operations of the borough are overseen by a 7-member borough council, a mayor, and tax collector, all chosen by you, the voters. The mayor in a borough such as Selinsgrove is what is loosely referred to as a weak-form mayor. Although I represent the executive branch of government, much of the executive authority you associate with the mayors of major cities is passed on to either the borough council and/or the borough manager. As mayor, I'm accountable for the operation of the police department, including the time, location, and manner in which the officers perform their duties. However, day-to-day operations and general management are deferred to the chief of police. I have the authority to perform weddings, break ties on council votes, veto ordinance proposals, and declare states of emergency during times of disaster. Most importantly, I'm here to be an advocate for the public in all matters concerning the municipality. The 7-member borough council you elect combines many of the roles found in separate branches or levels of the state and federal governments. Council serves as a legislative body of the borough, setting policy, enacting ordinances and resolutions, adopting budgets, and levying taxes. Council also performs executive functions such as formulating the budget, enforcing ordinances, approving expenditures, and hiring employees. The council is responsible for appointing board members to key organizations, including the Vacancy Board, Water Authority, Planning Commission, Zoning Hearing Board, Shade Tree Commission, Selinsgrove Area Recreation, Parks and Rec, and the Civil Service Commission. It is also responsible for hiring a treasurer, solicitor, engineer, and borough manager or secretary. The borough manager, in turn, is responsible for overseeing building code issues referred to the Central Keystone Council of Governments, Recycling, and Public Works. The manager also aids in matters pertaining to the fire company and the borough police. As I mentioned before, Selinsgrove Borough is the home of Susquehanna University. It is also the home to the Selinsgrove Area School District, 7 churches, 2 nursing homes, several parks, a public pool, a library, and municipal properties, all of which are exempt from property taxes. As such, 52% of the borough of Selinsgrove is now tax exempt. In other words, out of $73.5 million in assessable property, $38.5 million is exempt from property tax in the borough of Selinsgrove. That represents an 18% increase in exempt property since the year 2008. On December 28, 2011, Borough Council adopted a balanced budget with no tax increase at 15 mills, where 1 mill in taxes is roughly $35,000. On average, 1 mill costs a household about $18. Remaining reserves from 2011 total $2.7 million, and the council has budgeted for $4.2 million in revenue, making total monies available in 2012 $7 million. Budgeted expenditures for 2012 come to just over $4.5 million, and that leaves a projected carryover of reserve funds for 2013 of approximately $2.5 million, which can be available for large expenses anticipated in the future. The budget process is often an arduous undertaking, starting in the borough office as early as February. The bulk of the work, however, begins in October, when the treasurer receives budget requests from all departments for the following year. It is then reviewed by Borough Council in a special budget meeting in mid-November and tentatively adopted at the regular meeting in December. The budget receives final adoption at a special meeting in the last week of December. However, newly seated councilpersons have the prerogative to reopen the budget in the January meeting, although that rarely happens, and it didn't happen this year. The budget process is complicated, but citizens are allowed to take part in the process, ask questions, and provide input. With that being said, the borough office has witnessed an increase in special interest requests, with the news of Selinsgrove being named a beneficiary in the Rudy Galnett estate. Mr. Galnett was the type of individual who didn't flaunt his wealth. In fact, most people attributed the accumulation of his wealth to the simple means by which he lived. He was known for his kindness, friendship, and love of his community. At this point, all I can say is that the expenditure of his gift is being highly scrutinized by the Borough Council to honor the spirit in which it was made. At approximately $4.9 million, the trust principle is meant to survive in perpetuity, while the Borough Council is charged with finding the best use for the income. Although the Council has refrained from formally spelling out how the distributions will be made, it's an agreement that the money will not be used for day-to-day expenses that we typically put in the budget for operating the borough. Specifically, Council is interested in seeking out opportunities to use Rudy Galnett's gift in quality of life issues that affect the largest number of citizens that it can. One board that may see future benefit from the Galnett Trust is Selinsgrove Parks and Rec. This is the committee that is responsible for the Anthony Seeland Park, the ice skating rink, the boat launch, the dog park, and the borough playgrounds. Prior to reorganization naming Rocky Bear as the new chairman of Parks and Rec, past chairman Shane Hendricks proposed a new 5-year plan for Parks and Rec. With an extensive list of initiatives that continues the board's commitment to community recreation, the 5-year plan considers the feasibility of initiatives like an addition to the dog park, a volleyball court at Anthony Seeland Park, an environmental center at the boat launch, a 1-mile fitness trail, and possibly a rec center similar to the Middle Creek Area Community Center. In addition to Parks and Rec, which is a board overseen by the Borough Council, the borough also benefits from non-governmental organizations for community enhancement, such as Selinsgrove Projects Incorporated and the Selinsgrove Chamber of Commerce. Selinsgrove Projects Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose primary focus is on community revitalization. They're presently made up of various volunteers with a wide range of expertise, serving on several committees. There are several committees that operate under Selinsgrove projects with very diverse interests in helping to enhance the community. The Design Committee, for example, is primarily responsible for the streetscape of downtown Selinsgrove. They process facade grant applications and suggest what cosmetic changes would better enhance the aesthetics of downtown. Currently, they are waiting to hear of the approval of 2 additional rounds of facade grant funding comprised of $30,000 each, and provide financial assistance to Market Street businesses to improve their facades. The Economic Restructuring Committee is responsible for bringing businesses to downtown that would be a good fit for both the business owner and the business district. They're also responsible for Pepper's Arson Collective and 38 South Market Street and the Selinsgrove and the Selinsgrove Commons. The Discovery Trails Committee focuses more on the river and outdoor activities that can be done in the borough. Their major project right now is to develop water trails that can be used on the river to study the various plant and wildlife of the Susquehanna River. Selinsgrove Projects is also responsible for the many of your favorite community events, such as the Market Street Festival, the Halloween Parade, the White Christmas Celebration, and the Brew Fest, which draws in visitors from all over the country. If you're interested in being a member of Selinsgrove Projects, you're encouraged to attend one of the meetings that are regularly held in the Borough Pump House, located at 116 East Snyder Street by Penns Creek, at 6 p.m. on the 3rd Tuesday of each month. If you work in Selinsgrove, you want to participate in Selinsgrove Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is your source for networking with other people who have an interest in making Selinsgrove a great place to work and foster economic growth. They meet on the fourth Tuesday of each month for lunch, provide guest speakers on topics that affect local business, and they offer opportunities to shape the economic future of Selinsgrove. You can get information on both Selinsgrove Projects and the Chamber at selinsgrove.net. In addition to the many volunteers who address the quality of life issues in the borough, we can't forget about the men and women who devote their time to keeping us safe. We're fortunate to live in a community that hosts a top-notch police department, fire company, and ambulance league. Our ambulance service is provided by DH&L Ambulance League, which consists of 24 employees, 22 volunteers, 4 ambulances, and a wheelchair van. Dauntless Hook and Ladder Ambulance League was formed in 1964 to provide emergency medical services to Selinsgrove and the surrounding communities. More than 15 years ago, DH&L expanded its services by offering advanced life support with paramedics. Today, DH&L Ambulance League maintains 2 basic life support ambulances staffed by emergency medical technicians and up to 3 ambulances staffed by paramedics to provide mobile intensive care services. DH&L Ambulance League works closely with Dauntless Hook and Ladder Fire Company, but is actually a separate entity focused solely on providing emergency medical care to the community. In 2011, the ambulance company went on 3,361 calls, with a total of 2,069 patient transports. There were many changes in emergency medical services for Snyder County last year, and the ambulance company was no exception. They modified their paid staffing assignments in order to expand their mobile intensive care unit, also known as the MICU. They now provide coverage of one 24-hour and one 18-hour with the MICU, while continuing to offer quality basic life support ambulance service via their volunteer EMTs. As the economic situation both locally and nationally continue to influence operations in regards to funding, they have remained able to provide quality, nonprofit service to Selinsgrove and the surrounding communities. They continue to welcome those interested in volunteering to visit the station and see how you can give back to the community by joining the Dauntless Hook and Ladder Ambulance League. You can also get more information by contacting Captain Alex Olsch at 374-0444 or by going online to selinsgroveems.com.